Sorry for being late. I just saved 10 seconds from your life right there. Didn't even waste it. And I'm sorry for wasting 4 minutes because I know you've been sitting here patiently waiting for my beautiful voice and us beautiful men to take you through your Tuesday, April the 20th, also known as 420. 420, blaze, smoke it up, roll a doobie, blunt, baby. That part of the show is not brought to you by, but most of the show, the good show, our show, is brought to you by DraftKings, the number one leading gang when it comes to daily fantasy and sports. DraftKings, promo code THPN. You see it at the bottom of your ticker. We're like any of the main sports media companies out there, but we put the good shit, the shit that's going to make you money, down in the bottom ticker there. So DraftKings, promo code THPN. Use it at sign up. We got a huge UFC event coming up this weekend. I think I'm going to try. I'll put my word on it. I'm going to post my lineup later tomorrow. I'm going to try the UFC event on DraftKings. I'm going to enter in the big competition. I don't even know what the amount is yet, the entry fee. I imagine it's about $5 to $10. I know the main prize is probably $1 million plus. So I think the next time you guys talk to me, I will be a DraftKings millionaire, which I will not change my look. Let's just say that. Other than that, though, guys, it's coming up quickly. Yes, in the Twitch chat, the Josh Light counter might take a hiatus today. That's kind of sucky. But to wrap this up, guys, DraftKings.com. There are eligibility restrictions, obviously, with anything gambling, with anything fucking sick and free. There's a little bit of restrictions. Check it out on DraftKings.com. You'll see all of it there. And use our promo code THPN at sign up for a free entry with your first $5 deposit. Free entries, dude. That's how you make money. Everyone talks about beginner's luck in casinos. We're giving you beginner's luck and an additional top-up. So hit that up. Other than that, though, no, this is not an internet issue. This is the founding fathers of one of the best friendships in the world. I'm joined by my friend Raffle. I'm Elijah. How you doing, Raph?
I'm great. I'm super good. Just out here fucking chilling. I had a coffee and then now I'm having some beers. So I really don't know what I'm trying to accomplish tonight, but I think we're just gonna roll with the punches, you know?
All right, sick, dude. Yeah. I would say this, in that so far, the minute you start, the first thing you said, it started lagging, and that scared the shit out of me.
Really?
Like, your voice started chopping up, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
One of us is going to drop throughout the course of this podcast.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one episode that we did where I think you and Josh both dropped in like the same 5-10 minute window, and I was just sitting here alone with the chat? I'm like, I have no fucking idea what to talk about because I think we were in the middle of hockey, and I'm just just like looking at the chat for any kind of advice.
Dude, that was an exact moment to resurrect a note from Coach. That's what that moment was.
Yeah, just start hyping everybody up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, so yes, Josh is not with us today. He will make his return on Sunday. We gave him the night off today. Small shame because he had a sick golf game, which he'll talk about on Sunday. I'll talk a little golf later on. But Raph, I didn't even tell you this when I sent you some notes of what we're talking about today, but we're leading in with the Canucks. Yeah, we are going hockey immediately right here. The Canucks, there may as well be an X next to their name. There may as well be a "you clinched a playoff spot" designated to that team, because that's just the way numbers work. That's the way math works. The Canucks are a playoff team.
How many? Right? I agree. How many points are we behind Montreal right now?
Right now, it's a solid 8 points back for the last playoff spot. We have 4 games in hand, which if we win them all, that is 8 points.
So we will be on par with Montreal.
That's correct. Now, to give you a bit of a Jordan Belfort reference, one team is trending up, the other team is trending way down. They're trending downwards about a double black diamond kind of slope. We are trending upwards at about, I would say, a gross grind incline. So
nice. So they're trending down at about a 45-degree grade, and we're going up at about a 20-degree grade.
Yeah. Why? Okay. Why is? I don't understand the difference between a grade and a degree. Is it the same thing?
To my knowledge, yeah, I believe so. I believe it's just like different terms referencing different things.
Okay, yeah, because when it says like 8% grade, I'm like, bitch, this thing is like 45 degrees.
Yeah, it's just like an angle. It's just like slightly down. It's like pitched down a little bit, you know?
I think it's different.
Are we going to look it up right now?
Yeah, I think you should look it up, because all I see is trucks. Like they'll show you a sign and it says trucks, 10% grade, and it's like the biggest hill known to man. Where it's like, if that was a degree, that'd be way different.
It is defined as a measure of the road's steepness as it rises and falls along its route. Okay. In other words, it is the magnitude of its incline or slope.
Bitchin'.
So relatively the same thing.
Magnitude. Pop. Let's go.
I actually started watching Community again, dude. That show is fucking hilarious.
Oh, dude,
the amount of like one-line jokes and subtle jokes are so great.
Yeah, that one, it's got to be top 5 shows, comedy shows of all time.
Yeah, right. Like I would, and every single time it comes on, it's like, you know how some people when they watch like Friends or The Office or something like that over and over again.
Yeah,
like I would say that's my equivalent of that show. Like I just got to watch it every single time I see it on Netflix.
I don't have one of those shows. Yeah. So actually, as we're jumping into Canucks here, we have a comment in the Twitch chat. It says, "Is there availability to fill in as a host today, or is Josh joining soon?" Josh is not joining soon. He's out for today. Last minute addition to the lineup. I'm going to say lower body injury. That's what he has. Lower body injury. His cock. I mean, lack of a better word. No, not actually that. But on that note, yes, there is room availability to fill in, and it's called Be in the Chat. We need your help in the chat today. It's just 2 of us. Yeah. And like we've said before, we've been friends for 14 years. We basically know how to ask each other how each other's day was. And other than that, we know everything about each other. So
100%. Every single thing that goes on.
Yeah.
You come in here, you look at me funny, I know something's weird.
I know exactly who Raffle is seeing, when he's seeing them, what he's eating on the way to work, everything. I know what kind of deodorant he uses. It's an antiperspirant, not a deodorant.
That is not true.
It's a 50% shot.
Yeah, right. It's either right or it's wrong. 50%.
Yeah. 50% of the time, baby. Okay, so back to Canucks. So like we said, they have an X now next to their name. They are a guaranteed playoff team. That's just a fact. If you want to dispute that, throw it in the chat. I will embarrass you on this podcast. But getting into the game tonight, before we talk about any performances, really the biggest performance of the night was shared between a few people, a couple of people. I imagine I'm missing a couple too, but it was Autism Awareness Night at the Canucks Arena today, obviously rescheduled from the original March 30th date. So getting the rightful spotlight and kind of getting the rightful awareness that we need to get to a cause like this. Raffle knows I hold this cause very deep to myself. And so, yeah, so I got to shout out a couple of people here. Gavin Leong, he sang the anthem. Now, I will admit, I missed the anthem. I was talking to my old landlords, grabbing some mail, and they like to chat. They're lovely people. So I missed the first 40 minutes of the game. But by reading this thing on Twitter, Gavin's got some fucking pipes. So shout out Gavin.
Shout out Gavin.
And if anyone has a video of his performance, I'd love for you to send it to me on any of the StickinRink socials, and I would gladly watch it. And then I will tweet that Gavin has pipes. I will probably quote tweet it and say that. Sorry to rant here, Ralph. I'm going to go one more here. So I also like to shout out Ryan Chilton. Now he was killing it on the mic, deucing it up with Al Murdoch, also known when he's rapping as Al Murda, and he killed it. Helped out with the intros. I heard him say last minute of the third period, and because we were up 5-3, just dumping on this Leafs team. Great feeling. Even better that Ryan Chilton was doing it. So shout out Ryan Chilton. If you're on Twitter and you see these people or you find a way to communicate with them, probably not Gavin, he seems quite young. Shout him out, dude. Dap him up. Or dap him up. Whatever you want to say.
Dap him up.
But so Raffle.
Yeah.
We already got one comment. Milan 1992.
Yeah,
so had 0 shot at making the. Yeah. So Milan, you are dog water. Let's just say that. Sorry, bud. That's you. But Raffle, this game today, you said you caught a bit of it there.
Yeah, I caught a bit of it. I watched a little bit of the second period when we were tied 2-2, and it was looking like a pretty good game. And then I unfortunately saw the goal that Brooks scored on Holtby, which was just kind of a fucking shitstorm, for lack of a better term, just because everything that could go wrong was going wrong, and Holtby was out of the crease and just super out of position, and a whole unfortunate scenario. But yeah, after I stopped watching, the Canucks turned it around entirely. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what's weird about this Canucks team is that it's like a resilience factor or something like that. It's I would say my biggest takeaways that aren't statistics. I'll get to some analytics later, but some of the biggest takeaways is that this team's skating harder than they were before the break, and I don't think that's because they're well rested. They got fucked on by COVID, like a lot of us did. Yeah. But I think it's just a refound energy, confidence, something like that. And everyone's skating hard. That's a big part of it here is that they're winning puck battles.
Everyone genuinely seems like they want to be there too. Like, I don't know if you saw the close-ups of Quinn Hughes throughout the course of the game, but it's like the guy was beaming. Like, mind you, he did score, which was fucking good for him. But like the kid was just happy the entire time. Like you could tell that he wanted to be there. He wanted to play well.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I actually do believe, because I think Pierce or what's his name? The fucking new guy, Travis Boyd. I heard him in his intermission interview say that he's glad. This stuck out to me. He said he's glad to be back playing hockey. And I truly do think that those 2 days difference that they had to kind of prepare a bit more, I don't know. I think that helped every player in saying, like, they're actually genuinely happy to be back. There's no more hard feelings in terms of like being rushed back. I think they all feel confident and they felt helped out.
Yeah.
And that's why they're playing dynamite right now.
100%. Well, it just goes to show how much they really enjoy the sport that they're playing. It's like they're in the right line of work, you know?
Yeah. Did you catch Jake Virtanen at all throughout this game?
No, but he was, well, like I caught brief glimpses of him, like especially at the beginning of the third period. Like he was skating well. His positioning was really good too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, from what I noticed, at least.
And you proved my point, because I made a tweet and I said that Jake is making big hits. He's making good choices and he's skating hard. And I ended it by saying it's not just me that sees this. And you just proved it right there.
Yeah.
It's not just me. That was one of Jake's better games that I've seen him play in the last 2 weeks. That's a funny joke right there for you.
It's the only game we've seen Jake play. Just kidding.
Yeah. So Milan in the chat, Swishers in the chat. That's reason number one why we're going to make the playoffs, because Thick Tuna is rejuvenated. Plenty more to come. I would say that his Corsi percentage is off the charts. And if you don't know what Corsi is, then good, because I don't either. And I don't really give a fuck. It's kind of lame. But other than that, Raph, in this game, the other thing that stuck out to me was the play of Tyler Myers. I've been big on Tyler Myers this season. I think he's a horse. I think too often in Vancouver we evaluate people only based on their contracts, or at least 90% based on your contracts. Like, dude, look in the chat. We got switchers saying you're such a loser. Jake is overpaid. Why are we talking about money when the guy just contributed to a W and got us 2 points, dude? That's the balance right there. You can't overthink things in this business of being a fan. So Tyler Myers, stud. You catch him out there?
Yep, playing really well. What do you think about Holtby's performance, like this game and the previous game that we had?
Well, yeah, like we said last game, that was phenomenal. Best game he's ever played for the Canucks. Probably one of the best games he's played in the last few years for any team. And then he followed it up today with,
I don't remember how many shots on net Toronto ended with, but a decent amount. They were at 30 at the end of the second period.
Yeah, it was, if I could just get this fucking menu out the way I could see it. I want to say they were at 39 or something like that.
40 shots on goal. Yeah, 40 shots on goal, 3 goals.
Okay, so I'm going to put this performance right around great, like a good middle of the grade of great.
Yeah,
completely killed it. And yeah, so I'm looking at Tyler Myers, and it reminds me of myself. Whenever I play hockey, all I got's a long stick. I don't have much else going on, but I got a long fucking stick.
That's all you need sometimes.
It seems like this. I don't think Tyler Myers has been beaten on a 2-on-1 or like an edge rush push by a player coming in off the edge in what seems like 30 games. It seems like every time he just grabs one hand on the stick, the other hand on his shoulder, and just pokes that shit away. So big dabs to that guy.
Milan in the chat would like to know how has Green not been offered a new contract yet? What do you think Aquilini's waiting for?
That's a great question. I'm gonna make 2 comments. That's a diversion by Milan, because he's afraid that I'm convincing him on the playoff train, and now he's resorting to contracts and about the coach. The coach is not going anywhere. Don't worry about the contract. Don't worry about how quickly we pay him, because one thing to remember about Vancouver and the Canucks market is when you sign people to contracts, Vancouver gets mad. When you don't sign people to contracts, Vancouver gets mad. Case in point, Thatcher Demko signed to one of the best goalie contracts you can have in the league, and yet half the fan base was mad. So if anything, just chill. Just be patient. It's going to happen. He's not going anywhere. That's a fact. Yeah, so there you go, Milan. So the other day when the Canucks played, I forgot to mention this after game 1. When we came back on Sunday and we played the Leafs, this was a gambling stat. We were the biggest underdog gambling wise on the money line at home in 15 years, which means we played at home. Usually teams that play at home have a bit of a boost. I think it was like minus 600, plus 600. So like plus 6 to 1 odds. Yeah. And that's like the biggest one. That's also including fucking Buffalo Sabres playing at home in this entire season.
7 losses in and never even got that bad. It's probably like a plus 500 if anything.
Exactly. So I'm talking. This one's especially for all the degenerates out there in the chat that also like to gamble on me and are thinking, how the fuck did I not buy that winning lottery ticket and put $20 on the plus 600? I don't know.
Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger on that kind of stuff and go with it, right?
You know, Ralph, you know where I'm at in the status of my my like single game betting life? Because I do daily fantasy on DraftKings. I do because I live in Canada, I do single game betting through Bet365.
Yeah.
My Bet365 account is empty right now. That was a long time ago. I haven't had money in there in a long time, a few months probably. And I just know when I start depositing money in there, the domino starts falling again, and we either start losing or we start winning. Like, and then I'm right aboard the ride again. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. This is like when what's it called? When I think we just turned 19. I remember you got into what was that gambling app? PokerStars or something like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? I saw you get onto that app and I started watching you play with like this like free play money, and I'm like, fuck, this could spiral out of control into something bad. And here we are. But I'm glad that you don't have any money deposited. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I would. This year, this last like 365 days, I think I told Megan this the other day. I think my lifetime net gambling is positive at this point.
You think
because
so?
of what's been going on. Yeah,
do you remember? Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think I've withdrew over $2,000 in winnings in the past, like whatever, 6 months, 8 months, and I probably deposited like $400, so like net 1,600. It's crazy.
Dude, I was gonna say that you also have this weird, like, miraculous way of just winning back your money in some kind of weird fucking scenario. Like, do you remember when we were in Vegas a couple years ago, and you were down like what, like $400 or $500 or something like that?
I think it was $400 US for the trip.
Yeah, and then I think you, me, and Bailey went to the casino at like 3 a.m. when our flight was supposed to leave at 8 a.m. From the Vegas airport, and you just started playing craps and made all of your money back within like half hour, 45 minutes, maybe.
And also I think that was our first time playing craps. Maybe
ever.
like first and a half.
Yeah. There was a guy there with a hot hand too, and we were just like watching him roll. Yeah. Ridiculous.
I didn't even know what was happening. All I saw was my money coming back to me.
Yeah. And then you got out safe, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? We just went back to the room.
So we got Zachary Lucas in the Twitch chat as well, saying that Canucks plus 260 was a gift tonight. Absolutely. That's actually a bold statement. Now, I'm out here saying the Canucks are going to make the playoffs, and I have all this confidence here. I don't know if I would have had the nuts to bet them there. Because, listening to it on the radio on the way home, it all adds up the other way, right? Like, it's a big fade move because Canucks coming off a big emotional win. They still are tired from their break. And the Leafs having slumped. That team is going to break that slump eventually. And whoever they break it against, they're going to fucking kill. So,
absolutely. And you didn't. I didn't think it'd be that big of a score discrepancy this game either. Like, and having it end 6-3, I thought it was going to be a 1-goal game for sure based on how both teams are playing.
Well, yeah, and then I think it's because their fucking goalie decided to act like a golf course and just he decided to find holes in his pads.
That's true. He was going to beat block beside 5-hole. Left side, I think, as well. I don't know. Yeah.
And so far in the last 2 days of reigniting my kind of Twitter fan base or my fandom on Twitter, I've noticed that the Toronto media, or like the second tier media, the like Steve Dangles of the world and the Damien Cox of the world, they're losing it right now. They are having an absolute meltdown. They are me with a wedge in their hand. And this is what we live for as fans, Rafa. We live to see the other notable members of the media struggle and just be complete negative Nancy's. Isn't that great?
Yeah, absolutely. But how does that benefit us?
It's one of the few situations in life where watching someone else suffer is kind of enjoyable.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. And then you go out there and you just try to hope that you don't struggle and flop like they do.
Exactly. And
I feel like if anything, that kind of gets you like in your own head, you know?
Yeah, you know me though. You kind of come at it with like an unknowing like assholeness where you're, or like sarcastically knowing. Like I know eventually the Canucks are going to get like fumble fuck something, and I'm going to hear it. But I want to make sure that when that's not happening, I want to get my word out there that Steve Dangle, you suck like your team, or like your takes suck like your team.
There you go.
Just another negative media guy. That's all right. We're targeting people. Apparently, I'm just becoming an anti-media guy really quick. But
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually. It's on the record now too. So
yeah, that kind of sucks.
Why stop?
Either way, though, if at any point during this podcast, if someone wants to come at me with the Canucks playoff take, I will answer your questions in the chat. Me and Raffle will both dummy Milan 1992 or anyone else that needs to have that happen to them. That's okay. We are here for you. But Raffle,
don't rope me into this.
Raffle is we are conjoined twins at this point. You may as well get rid of that gap in the middle of our screens and just completely morph us together.
Yeah, make us the same person.
Yeah. And so, Raph, we're going to move into the rest of our podcast here. We're going to jump away from hockey because we are... Okay, wait, one sec. We got a gambling thing in the Twitch chat. Feels like the Sens are a good bet Thursday. Classic Canucks letdown spot.
I mean, Canucks take down the top dog 2 times back-to-back and then fucking play the Sens. And yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say that fucking hurts. That hurts not because of the take, because the take... Now you're talking to Gambling Elijah. Gambling Elijah likes the fades. He's a big... Anytime, for some reason, I like plus odds. I'm a big underdog guy. I know Zach is as well. But I don't like the way that's worded at the end there. That's not a very nice way to say things. I think there's a better way to say things to allow karma to still act on your side, which would be
we gotta somehow get Clay in the chat and just have him like fill the chat with a ton of positivity.
Yeah. We need to convince Clay that his calling, like something he needs to add to his bag, is being our Twitch moderator, because that would be the most positive chat you'll ever see.
Absolutely.
Like so far, I'm pretty sure we have a few mods. I don't see any of them in chat right now, which is tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough look. What's this Josh Light counter saying we have one, dude? That's a bunch of bullshit.
I don't know. I want to see something like. just get a second one on there.
What's up, Alec G? In the Twitch chat. I feel like I always got to address that it's in the Twitch chat for our podcast listeners. I'm sorry if you're a podcast listener and what we've been doing for the last 2 months has kind of thrown you off. We still love you. If anything, come interact with us once in a while in the chat and we'll dab you up as well.
Yeah.
But for all the listeners, Raph.
Yes.
Happy 420.
Happy 420.
Blaze. In the spirit of 420, I'd like to introduce you to the beer I'm having today. Has nothing to do with the marijuana at all, but I do know that Raffle loves What the Huck, one of the first craft beers that you fell in love with.
So good. It is Fernie Brewing Co., I think.
That is correct.
If you've never had What the Huck, I recommend going and trying it. I think I tried it at a bar in New West for the first time, and it's just like a nice like huckleberry flavored wheat ale, and it's so easy to drink.
Now, if I had to tell you to compare huckleberry to something, I don't even know what the fuck you're gonna say. I don't even know. What does huckleberry taste like?
I'd kind of like put it between like a raspberry and a blackberry almost.
So a blueberry.
Like kind of sweet but kind of tart. No, blueberries don't have that tartness that a blackberry does.
But when you mix black and red, you get blue.
No, you get a darker red.
Fair enough. Now, I did put this out for the podcast about 30 minutes ago, so now it's a What the Warm, and it's dope. Still, it's got actually warm beer has more flavor than cold beer, but it's also not as satisfying.
I agree with you entirely, but the warm beer is just kind of nice, you know, like with like an IPA or something like that, or like a stout or something. Like I prefer it room temperature.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking like leave this shit out in the sun. I'm just talking like it's been 20 minutes.
Chilling at about a 10 degree kind of temperature. Back to 420. Do you have a chance to indulge or anything like that today, or no?
No, I didn't. I'm like I work 9 to 3.
Yeah.
So I would say all of my weed consumption would happen either through like we don't even count CBD as like weed consumption really, but no, if I smoke, it's usually at night, and I was going to tonight, but I really wanted to have the What the Huck, so I wasn't going to mix. You did
really?
Is one beer and like a little bit of weed? Is that still considered mixing? Like when you talk about like fucking yourself up?
I mean, you're not going to like spin yourself out from it or anything like that. They should like the thing about like drinking and weed is that like when you have a few beers or something like that, or you get like a decent buzz going, and then you smoke a joint, then it just like the weed hits you relatively hard if you don't have a tolerance. And it's kind of like you could kind of like relate that to like having like, let's say like 6 beers and then taking some shots after. Like it's the exact same thing because the shots just creep up on you so quickly, you know. But like
so that's the comparison for one beer and one like a few puffs of a joint.
No. That's the comparison for like 4 or 5 beers and then like hitting a joint or something like that.
I thought you were saying that's the 1-and-1 comparison, because that would be you sealed it there for me.
No, dude, I'm doing 1-and-1 right now and it's chill. It's fun.
Okay. Have you had a chance to indulge?
A few hours ago, right before the podcast. Yeah, just kind of hanging out, chilling. Nothing extreme.
Okay, I have a Vancouver question for you. What's up with Mark Emery these days? Is that his name? And the whole like cannabis people?
Oh yeah, the Prince of Pot.
Yeah, like what's their deal nowadays? Because I remember like back in the day before it was legal, they were always like it was just this huge smoke out at the library, but it was actually for a
Yeah,
purpose because they wanted to legalize. But now what is it?
dude, I have no fucking idea. I haven't been to 420 in probably holy shit, like 7 years or something like that. At least since
Yeah,
university, it's been a while.
those were some funny stories from my perspective because with our high school friends
Yeah,
and like grade 11, 12, even first university, when you guys would go to that, I was still like big time anti-pod. I was like the religious guy coming at you. I was like, I'm going to cleanse your spirit if you keep
yeah,
doing that. And you guys would be like, I would know that you're going down there and you're like, it was the equivalent of us going to like a beach day for the entire day. How equipped you guys were, how ready you guys were for a day, which was fucked.
yeah. Well, it's like when we'd go there, we'd obviously like show up kind of stoned, and then we'd buy more while we were there, and then we just go downtown and just get stoned all day. Like go to the beach, hang out there, like kids, English, like wherever. The thing that I always thought about was like we did a lot of walking.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
It's like the Vegas Strip.
Yeah, 100%. Like we'd start off at what is it, the art gallery, then we'd walk down in the direction of Davie Street, then down to English Bay, and then to Kids, and just like back the entire same way, hop on the SkyTrain and just go home. Like it was fucked up. Lots of
Yeah.
busing, lots of transiting.
I used to look at that group of people as like, or that event as it was happening with that huge flume of smoke above it as like, dude, that's what my parents warned me about. Like that's scary people. Don't go near them. They'll snatch you.
Meanwhile, your parents were okay with you going to watch Game 7 in downtown Vancouver in 2011.
They see the place burning up, dude.
They're like, oh, he's probably fine.
Yeah.
God forbid he goes to 420.
I might indulge later on before I go to bed. Get myself a nice sleep tonight.
Yeah. How do you feel about like the recent amount of or the recent increase in people using CBD products? Because I feel like over the past like 2-3 years, a lot of people have started using CBD products at least. How do you feel about that?
I'm huge on it. I'm actually one of the people that's been like telling almost everyone about it. Anyone that I think could benefit from it, I've been telling.
Yeah.
Like I talk to my parents a lot about it, for themselves and for my sister. I talk to people in Megan's life who struggle with sleep about using it. And so, yeah, I would just say that. So like, it's funny because I don't have a ton of experience with it. I've only ever taken like 10 milligrams at a time, and it's done. I haven't really had this life-changing experience from it, but I've noticed benefits from it, and I haven't. And like you said, and like anyone has said, there's tons of research, tons of science that says there's not really, it's a healthy thing to do. It's natural stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm more on the CBD train than I am fucking Tylenol and Advil nowadays.
Well, I was going to say, like, one thing that, like, obviously I use it recreationally when I want to unwind and stuff like that, where it's like you use it for other reasons. Like what's it called? Like hit a dab pen or something like that. But do you find that, say, taking these CBD pills or like smoking a CBD joint or something like that, do you find that it helps with your body's aches and pains relatively well? Or does it kind of just like blanket it in a way where it's just like, it just makes it go away for a brief amount of time and then it's still there?
It's weird because I feel like in my life I've probably taken it 3 or 4 times for pain, like for muscle pain or something. But I feel like every time that I've taken it for pain, the pain's been too like acute. It's been too, I don't want to say serious, but it's been like recently when I pulled my neck when we were all hanging out.
Yeah.
And like that was like it was a noticeable pain. It was always there, and I just think that that's too painful for at least 10 milligrams to solve. I bet if I took more or something like that, it would definitely help. But I know that level of chronic pain that I think it would really help with, where it's just like, oh, my foot's always sore just a little bit.
Yeah. Just like something to help out just a touch. Yeah, no, I could definitely see that too. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been fucking with it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go on.
It's fine. I was somewhat changing it.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of people always talk about CBD as being one of those things that is used for chronic injuries, and apparently it helps a lot. I'm like you, where it's like sometimes when I'll have a headache, I'll have like a little bit of THC, CBD or whatever, and I find that it does help in some sense. But like, yeah, I was just kind of interested to see how it would work with extreme pains.
Yeah, it's I actually do think I'm interested now. I think next time that it does happen to me, whether it's like my back's really fucked or a neck or something like that, I think I might take 2 or 3 and just see what happens.
Yeah, play around with it a little bit, because like you're not gonna get like high.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term, you're just gonna feel like calm and relaxed.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I've been fucking with it for stress and anxiety during like some nights or just whenever it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I would say even just the 10 milligram dose has been that's done wonders for me in that sense. Like I'll have a chill night after that. I'll have a great sleep. Everything is dope.
Yeah.
On that note, if any of the listeners out there are curious about it, I would say, I don't know if you have any other advice. My number one advice would be to actually go to a dispensary or go into a store and talk to someone about it, because those people are all pretty smart there, and
they're very well educated on the topic. They're, mind you, like the person you're talking to probably is stoned, so obviously take everything they say with a grain of salt. But like they're just like any shop clerk, right? Like they're supposed to be an expert in their field, and they understand exactly what kind of product they're selling you. There's also a really good app that I've used before. I think it's on like Marketplace, like what's it called, Apple Store, like Android Marketplace or whatever. It's called Leafly, and it's really good for like finding like specific strains for like specific results and whatnot.
Yeah, and even if you don't like talk to people, when I went to the government store, there's just like a lot of reading to do in like very easy ways. Like it's set up in such a educational way that if you're at all on the fence, you can just go in there and you don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to, and just learn a shit ton, figure it out for yourself.
Mind you, we're talking from Canada's perspective. We can't speak for the rest on behalf of the states, but
yeah, if you in the states, dude, it depends if you're in one of those states where everyone carries a fucking automatic assault rifle with them, or if you're in the one where like everyone wears flowers in their hair and it's hippie country. Because dude, it's very different.
Real quick, little sidebar, getting away from marijuana here for a second. Apparently, I read a statistic the other day that apparently the States has had 45 mass shootings in the last month.
That's fucked.
That's fucked. And I think what classifies
a mass shooting is
4 or more people, I think, have to be killed, not including the gunman. Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck?
Like 45. Like I think it. Do you remember that whole thing with the massage parlor?
Yep. Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, wherever that was kind of like the starting point of it, and then after that, it just started slowly.
Yeah, I know there's been like 3 in the last week or something like that, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Trying to
come up with how like common shootings are becoming.
Well, this has been a story for the last 3 years, the last 4 years, something like that,
Yeah.
maybe even more.
Yeah.
I would say at this point, it seems like they're not really biting on the whole like gun control bait. Maybe we need to hit them with like a more creative solution where we're like, instead of I don't know what the word is, illegalizing or like criminalizing the ARs, what if we legalize something else like I was gonna say crap.
Nerf guns.
Nerf, yes. We need an antidote. We need an antidote. We need a trend. We need fucking TikTok or Twitter to take over, and where all these weirdos are like, yeah, it's my right to carry around my fucking AR-15 in Walmart.
Yeah.
What we need is like 100,000 Americans to start carrying Nerf guns along their hips, so that makes them look like losers. I think that'd be sick. That's one way. Here we are solving the world. Okay, I wanted to pivot a little bit. Okay. So like I said earlier, I went to my old landlord's house, picked up some mail. And I'm usually pretty stoked when I get mail. I'm like a little kid, dude. Whenever I see a fucking note that's not from the dentist telling me to get my teeth cleaned, I'm stoked. I had 3 envelopes this time, and I hate to say it, Raph. Yeah. It was 2.5 bad news.
I mean, how can something be half bad news?
Well, one of them was like a shareholders like notice.
Yeah.
And it's good news because there's been a struggle to try and find out if I even own this stock anymore through Scotiabank. They've been fucking throwing me on a witch hunt trying to find this thing. But now I have tangible proof that I do own it, and that the account is there somewhere. They have to find it. But the half bad side of that is that I now have to call them again and call waiting again, which fucking sucks.
Okay.
The main one I'm going to get to is a fucking parking notice. I got a notice from like a collection agency being like, bro, you have a parking ticket from 2018.
Wow.
Like, what?
How much does it cost you right now to pay it off?
They said the balance due is $100. They also said that they're willing to offer a one-time settlement of $50, and it's valid until February 21st.
2 months ago. Sick. Dope.
Just picked it up today.
Fuck yeah. Do you find that they always do that though? They're always like, oh, we're willing to offer you a one-time settlement for even less money than if you paid it immediately 2 years later.
Yeah, they always do that bullshit, dude. Do you think I should barter with them? Be like, I'm willing to offer you a one-time settlement of $25.
Yeah. See how that goes over. You guys start bargaining back and forth. They're like $40, take it or leave it. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. So where are we out the whole collection agency thing? Do they actually do anything?
I don't know. What?
I'm not worried. I'm more like, I just want to like handle it if it's for real. Like, I remember whenever we went through university, there was always one person that told you like, bro, you don't have to pay your parking tickets. You know that, right?
Yeah, but like, until they fucking tow your car. What was the towing company that gave you the ticket? Do you remember?
They got Easy Park on my ass.
Easy Park's all over Vancouver. That's tough.
Yeah. So do you think anytime I pull up in an Easy Park, I'm gonna be flagged and they're gonna tow my ass?
I don't know if they're gonna be flagged. I think they're gonna pay special attention to your vehicle, and the moment it crosses the moment you're parking without paying, then they're just gonna fucking have a tow truck ready and
tow my ass. Okay,
yoink your car out of the garage. Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be like.
I would say that we have goats and boats coming up later. That was just kind of a random plug because I just thought about ranking something. But I was gonna say getting your car towed is arguably one of the worst things to have happen in your life. It's like within the same breath as death because it's just so fucking inconvenient.
Do you think you'd consider it like a bit of a slow burn? Because as it's happening, you can see your car just like slowly leaving you if you're there for when it happens and there's nothing you can do about it.
I would say it's worse if you can see it happening.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna finish and say it's like you should be able to stop that from happening, but you're not allowed to.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself being one of those people who's crazy enough to like actually like jump into your car as it's being towed so they can't legally tow you? You think you do it?
I've got a big.
Dude, I want to be there when you get your car towed.
Rough with any kind of parking people. I don't hate tow truck drivers because they're actually probably dope people. Yeah. But I hate anyone that runs a parking company. You're a loser. And I've had such bad experiences with parking people. Literally fucking my ale and just giving me parking ticket after parking. I remember this one time for the city of White Rock. This is story time now. This was probably 3 years ago. Me and Megan were hanging out on like Marine Drive. We were hanging out, getting some fish and chips. I paid for like an hour of parking. And we were done after about like 10, 15 minutes. Like, I don't know if our plans changed or if it was like ready way earlier than they told us to or something like that. Either way. So we decide we're going to go over to the pier and like just go check out the pier. Not even walk it. We were going to walk it, which takes 5 fucking minutes. Yeah. I parked there and I didn't pay again. But at White Rock, you're supposed to pay per stall. And I don't even know if I thought about it. But when I came back, I had a parking ticket. And I was like, I'm not fucking paying this. Like, I paid for an hour of parking. That's still good over there. Like, I'm not paying this. Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't a busy day or anything. This is just douchebags. And so I remember I actually went into this City of White Rock building. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go full Karen, but I'm just too like, I don't think I have that bone in me. I like tried to freak out a little bit and it just nothing came out. Nothing tangible came out.
I get that. Like, I'm kind of like, you did fuck up. So it's kind of hard to argue, but it's like, you can also like play the card where it's like, look, like I did pay. I just screwed up the numbers. Like I did the right thing, but then they're going to tell you just to double check and not fucking suck.
Well, I think what was frustrating is they give you the bullshit answer. They're like, well, the policy is that like you have to pay per stall. It's like, I know that coming in here, I'm in here to tell you that's bullshit. And I'm also here to tell you that I'd be down to do that. But you also don't have, like every other fucking city has, you don't have like this pay by phone. And that at that time, I don't think City of White Rock had the pay by phone, which they do now. Maybe I was the fucking deal breaker there.
The last straw. Would you rather, just a quick random question, would you rather pay based on your stall number or based on your license plate?
License plate every time, because then you can move around. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay, that makes sense. What if you fuck up your license plate?
I think that's a forgivable offense. If they're ever like, you're like, yo, I paid 3 hours of parking, or something like that. Yeah, like I fucked up. I put 47 instead of 48.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fine with that.
Yeah, okay, fair. That makes sense. Okay, wait. So you said you got 2.5 pieces of bad news. That was only like what, 1.5 pieces of bad news?
Yeah. What was the other one? I think it was telling me that the like pharmacare that I applied for has not been approved yet. Which was like, all right, thank you for the update. That's awesome.
I don't care. Just let me know when it is approved.
Yeah, just let me know when I can get my drugs for free.
That's there you go.
Happy 420. Meds. Blaze it. Victoria government. That's what they should have signed. Okay, Raph, what should we move into next?
I don't know. What are you feeling?
Here we go.
A smorgasbord of topics.
I want to give
the summer?
Not yet. No. We're not skipping this one. I want to talk about Raffle's 6-pack.
I don't have a 6-pack.
I want to talk about Raffles slamming hot summer bod. This shit is Baywatch. So I hung out with Raffle on Saturday, Sunday it was, and Raffle was shirtless. And for anyone listening out there that's also seen Raffle shirtless, there's probably 5 or 6 people in that chat. If you haven't seen him in the past month, this shit's must-watch TV. You need to find a way to see him in person. Raph, you've been working out a lot. Are you happy with the progress?
Yeah, but now I feel like every single time I do anything that's not healthy, I just feel like a giant sack of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like today, like I wasn't gonna work out. I was like, oh, like rest day, like I'm just gonna take it easy. And then I felt like a giant piece of shit. I'm like, I should probably go work out. Or even like now, like I'm having a couple beers. I'm like, this fucking sucks. Yesterday, I crushed a bag of Maltesers. I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life? You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like it's nice. It's cool like seeing results because like I was even talking to my mom about it the other day because she pointed it out too. But I don't know. Like it's just kind of like it's nice, but then you have to upkeep it, you know, which becomes like a pain in the ass in itself.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel bad. We didn't address this. Sorry, I'm going to go back to you in a second. We didn't address this question in the Twitch chat where Swisher says, is it just me, but cannabis stores are very aesthetically pleasing. Everything looks top notch, but I feel like they don't give you enough browsing time. Just imagine what that says. Like they pressure you to order as soon as you walk in. I have not had that experience. I went to the government store like a good little Canadian boy, and they were very helpful, and they fucked off while I looked. And I would say I spent 30 minutes in there before my first order.
They probably thought you were stoned, taking that long.
Probably, yeah. Raffle, how much do you work? Are you work out 5 days a week right now?
Yeah, 5 to 6 days.
Jesus, Murphy, dude, I think I do 3 right now, and I think I'm a statue pretty soon.
Well, it's like my workouts aren't anything crazy. Like obviously, like I was never really like a big gym goer, so it's like sometimes I'll go outside, I'll go running. Like my parents are really athletic, so I'll have stuff at home that I can work out with. But it's like usually just like 45 hours a day. Like it's nothing extreme. Like it's just something to keep you moving, right? And especially for somebody like me, like with the podcast, with editing, with just like my hobbies, I'm in front of a TV or a screen for like, I'd say give or take like 5 to 6 hours a day. You know, so it's like you got to do something to kind of like keep yourself moving around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how your brain is fried right now. Like mine, I do tangibly less time than you in front of a screen. Yeah, and my brain is completely fried.
You get used to it though. You adapt just like anything, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole working out thing. Like if you throw in like a 4th day there, yeah, it's gonna suck for a couple of weeks, but then eventually your body's gonna be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, 4 days is optimal. I think is like the minimum you should be doing for if you're like looking for tangible, quick results. I have a question. Do you have a cheat day? An established cheat day?
No, I'm not that intense about it. I'm like, if I want to eat something, I will do it. Like yesterday, that bag of Maltesers. Today, crush some chocolate chip cookies. Like, I don't know. There's like little things like I do here and there. I think the biggest thing is just being conscious of how much food you're actually eating as far as cheat days go.
In total, or just
because like you could eat like really clean throughout the entire course of the day, but then you just have yourself like give yourself like a fat dessert or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's all about balance. Again, this is coming from me. Like I haven't been working out as long as some of our other friends. It's just like a really like recent thing that I've been doing, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I feel like we should change our name to like the Pump and Iron Podcast.
No, we should definitely not do that.
People and be like, welcome to the podcast. We've been working out for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Elijah, how would you feel if you and I started like hiking and doing like outdoor adventures and shit like that?
I love hiking. I'm down with that. Yeah.
We'll do this.
Never used to be into it, but I'm into it now.
We'll do this. You'll work out 3 days a week, and then we'll go like hiking or something like that on like a 4th day, or just to kind of like change of scenery, you know?
Yeah. How's about? I know you said you weren't a gym guy. Now I'm down with the hiking, like you said. Let's go on. We should set an over/under 10 hikes this summer. I'm into that.
Yeah. Easy.
What I have a question. When you're at the gym.
Yeah.
Now I know you said you're not a gym guy, but thinking back to those days at the gym, and you're working out, and there's a guy beside you or even around you that is just lifting substantially more weight, or just like obviously way more of a gym guy than you are. How does that make you feel?
I don't care. I personally don't care. Like, I know some people, it kind of like motivates them to lift heavier, but I look at them because I've never been a consistent gym guy. I'll look at them and be like, oh, like this guy's lifting more, like good for him. He probably goes like every single fucking day here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So doesn't really impact me. What about you? Does it make you like self-conscious or something?
Well, not even, I feel like it's different reactions depending on how I'm feeling that day. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. Like the gym that I go to right now, it's just a rec center. But
Hmm.
so I'm like, we've talked about this on the podcast. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'4". I'm large with an XL in front of that. I'm like 260. So I'm like a pretty stout 6'4". Now and I've been going to the gym now 3 times a week, probably for like 2 or 3 weeks. And for the last 4 times that I've been there or something like that, there's been this guy there who I think is he's like better at everything than I am. He's like 6'6". All right, you got me there. He's shredded. You got me there. He's fucking tan. You got me there. And he's like, it's insane. And I'm thinking like, there's been days where I'm sitting there like, I think I'm just gonna go sit in the hot tub. Like, this is bullshit. But there's also
like
days
sauna room or something.
Yeah, but there's also days where I'm like, oh, dude, that could be somewhat maybe me, or like 40% me.
Yeah,
I could do that.
Use it as motivation. Do you ever get that weird feeling where, like, I know like a lot of newer people who go to the gym always get this feeling where you feel like everybody's staring at you when you're in there?
Yeah, that's not even just for the gym. That's for a lot of things. Anything that's like out of my element.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that's legitimate?
No, it's not. It's what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, if everyone thinks that everyone is staring at them, no one's staring at anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of fucked like that. Although I do stare at, like, if someone's doing something funny, I'm staring at you. If you're doing something weird, I am staring at you.
You're the guy staring at people.
Yes. I am a big people watcher. Apparently we're still on cannabis in the Twitch chat. Sick job, Razor. That was like 10 minutes ago. Do cannabis stores smell? No, they don't.
No.
Right? Actually, I can only speak with the government one I went to. Couldn't smell a thing. But
they usually have really good ventilation, so you don't notice.
Yeah, and it's also if you walk in there, you will get secondhand high immediately. You'll puff, boom. It's scentless, but there's smoke in there. You're dead.
Yeah.
Next up, Raph, should we move on to? We have a question. What is the sport of the summer? That's a big question right there. I find that in my life right now, in our life, in everyone's life, I feel like everyone's playing some different sports nowadays. But the true question, what is the sport of this summer? What's the big
sport? I think it's tennis.
I think it is. I think tennis is
tennis.
The fucking winner.
Yeah.
I think you've come by now for a few times playing tennis, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I think I've played 4 times. I think I've played like 6 times already.
I think I played 2 or 3.
Shit, dude. It's actually so fun.
Tennis is very fun. It's a very good workout too. Lots of running.
Yeah. And it's very hard. I will say that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we also think about like the actual like number of people you see at tennis courts? Like we went to our courts where we normally go, and it's like some days you show up and there's a fucking lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're waiting for people to finish the games. Or it's like even at kits and like beaches downtown, like obviously people are trying to get out more, but like those tennis courts are packed too. Like everybody this year is playing tennis.
Oh, dude, and at kits, don't they have 10 courts?
They have a fuck ton.
They're at 5 or 10. It's either it's a long row and it's either double road or not. I can't remember. I think it is. But now this gets back to the is everyone watching you kind of thing. For some reason, my embarrassed ass would feel kind of weird about playing at kits. I feel way more pressure to play tennis at kits.
Because there's a lot of shirtless people of really good physique there. So it's
not
kind of
even
like
that. There's a lot of like 45-year-old plus people that are absolutely magicians with a tennis racket.
Really?
And yeah, they're so good out there. Everyone is so good.
They're borderline like amateur tennis players.
Yeah, so I would have to have my excuses on deck, ready to go, rehearsed.
Yeah,
I make a lot of errors when I'm playing tennis. That shit's hard to do, dude.
It is tough. Tennis is one of those weird sports where it's like even when you think you're not going to hit the ball that hard, you fucking sail it over the back fence somehow.
That's what I was going to say. It's the one sport where like I feel every time you hit the sweet spot of the racket, that's usually a bad thing. Like it doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
Or it feels right, and the result is it hits the back fence.
Yeah, exactly. It just sails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like I have to like whenever we play tennis, I always feel like when I hit the ball, if I overhand it and I'm trying to get like a fast ball over the net, I feel like I'm trying to hit it at the ground, and then that's when it just like perfectly sails over the net into the other side of the court.
In a good way?
In a good way, yeah. But again, it's like my initial intention was like aiming at the fucking floor, so but what do I know?
Yeah, seriously. But I love any sport like this that we can play during the summertime where all of us are kind of around the same level. And so far, like everyone in our friend group is loving it. I would say like the girls in the friend group are also playing, which that's one thing. When you can get the guys and the girls playing, that's fun. That's dope right there.
Okay, wait. Let's address the elephant in the room, though. How did spike ball fall short?
Spike, I think it's just it's always going to be there. No. I think spike ball is like golf. Like, why didn't we say golf? Because it's cemented itself as like one of the everyday activities, but it's not new and sexy anymore, you know?
Yeah. Tennis is coming back. It's like the retro fun game now.
Yeah. Tennis is new. It's exciting. It's young. It's spry. It has no injuries. Super athletic. Love it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh man.
All beach volleyball's coming up next season. Hey.
I would be down for beach volleyball. I would say that's actually my background sport. For the listeners out there, but any kind of organized volleyball is hard because it's just so hard. It's so hard, and you usually when you're learning, you'll have like minimum 3 people on the side.
Yep.
And even if one person doesn't really know what they're doing, it's pretty hard to get a rally going. And that's
the movement's also very exhausting too. Like anybody can play like volleyball on a court because like you can just kind of like walk back and forth, like lightly jog back and forth because people aren't obviously spiking it that hard. But if you're playing in sand, like you're diving, you're accelerating, like you got to get there. That sand sure as fuck isn't helping.
Whenever I play in a beach league in the indoor place nearby, I am absolutely dying. Like we usually play 2 games, and by the middle of the first one, I am like shirts off, I'm drenched in sweat. It's disgusting.
Yeah. You're like, I've got one more game left. I don't know. I'm gonna fucking
yeah. It's so tough.
Fair.
Yeah, that shit's wild. Okay, should we jump into any other talks here? Yeah, before we get to goats and woats, I wanted to ask you this: our thoughts on the Paul brothers. So Jake Paul, Logan Paul. Obviously, they had the fight on Saturday. I think it was, or Friday, one of the two. I think we talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but I never really got your thoughts on what you think about the Paul brothers and the way that they've made their money.
The way that they've made their money is like those like annoying kids in high school or like early like university who whenever they didn't like somebody or something or they thought somebody had an opposing thought, they'd be like, fight me, fucking fight me, see what happens. And I'm just like that's how they've made their living. You know what I mean? Like any single time they like want to get like, well, at least right now, at least in the past like 2 years since who was it? Jake Paul has started fighting.
Yeah, Logan Paul's fought before, but he lost.
Yeah,
I think he drew one game. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just like that's all they're doing, and it's like the way that they kind of approach these situations too is it's fucking dumb. Like, who's like, oh fuck, I don't remember who he was fighting. You want to go? Was it McGregor that he wanted to fight at one point?
Who, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wanted to fight McGregor, but I don't think that was happening.
Yeah, but he like went after his trainer or something like that. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? That's just kind of a dick move. Like water ballooned him and everything. I'm like, yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, like when you actually break it down. So these people, this is the modern day internet hustle. Like the absolute top of the food chain. What you can do on the internet is what the Paul brothers have done. And I would say, I mean, I remember watching Logan Paul all the way back in the Vine days when he got started. And like he was funny as fuck. I'll give him that. I don't even know where Jake came from. Yeah. But as the world's gone on and you've gone through different apps, fucking Vine and TikTok, all this, and just the way that social media has evolved. Yeah. It's gotten more and more cringy as I've gotten older and it's gotten weirder.
Absolutely.
But there's tons more money pumped into it as well. Like these guys are making $1 million in one night.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I think there is 0% chance that any of us that you can't have some amount of respect for them because here they are, man. They're in their, he's 23, 22 years old, something like that.
Yeah. Worth more than we'll ever be worth.
Yeah. Well, it's worth more than we'll probably be worth.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But no, it's okay. But he's making money off of boxing and he has zero boxing background. Like he kind of has the world by the balls at this point. In terms of money, I think happiness is a whole nother fucking discussion where if I looked at myself in the mirror when I came home, I'd be like, I'm fucking weird. I know that. Yeah. But I mean, whatever. If that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing.
They kind of found like a weird loophole. And the strange thing too is that I feel like with everything they do, it's like they have to like it's like what you were saying. Like when you were a kid, you're like, oh, this is sick because like you saw them on Vine and it was funny. But now when they're doing things like these fights and they're doing like these like big events and everything like that, they keep telling themselves that they're going to do it bigger and better. And I feel like it's just getting to the point like what you said. It's getting cringy. It's fucking like it's just way too over the top, dude. Like relax.
Did
Dial
you
it back
see
a little bit.
Did you see any of the pay-per-view?
No, unfortunately not.
It was hilarious. Some
Did
of
he
the
just
things that were
cream
going.
Ben Askren or what?
Oh yeah, he knocked him out, but it was like it was a pretty shit. It was a shit fight. The event was kind of weird. So they had Justin Bieber performing before the fight, full on live concert. They had Pete Davidson announcing, Snoop Dogg. They had They had a ton of other people I'm forgetting as well. One of my favorite moments was the cardboard sign guy.
Yeah.
Who he's got like long. He's white. He's got like longer.
Yeah.
He writes the funny shit on cardboard signs.
Yeah.
That was the guy who was walking out Ben Askren. He walked out in front of him and he had a sign. He said, "This is Ben."
That's so sick.
I thought it was so funny.
We need to bring on somebody who like follows UFC like religiously and just get their opinion on this and see if it's kind of like a mockery of the sport. Or just maybe not UFC, but like UFC, like boxing, like any kind of like professional league fighting, and just see if they feel like this is like what the Paul brothers are doing. It's just like making a mockery of it all.
It definitely all comes down to perspective. Like I've heard some fighters say like, "Fuck it, dude." Like I wish I was
bring more attention to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also heard boxers say like, "No, dude, I've put in hours upon days upon years in the sport, and I'm not getting anywhere near that exposure." So yeah, I see that. I see both sides of it, but it's tough, dude. It's tough to say. I have huge amount of respect for it. The hustle, you gotta love the hustle. I really look forward to one day growing up and watching these guys become 40. Because if they're still shooting for internet fame, that's the word, at 40, I'm gonna be lolling myself to sleep.
Dude, I mean, it is possible. Weirder shit has happened.
100%. All right. What are we moving in? I think we're moving into goats and woats.
I think we're doing it.
All right. So we are ready for goats and woats of music festivals. Now, we need to clarify, as we always do, this is the goats and woats of things that happen at a music festival, not comparing music festivals to each other. But yes, obviously without Josh. So Raffle and I are each going to do 6 picks for goats and for woats.
Actually?
No, just kidding.
Oh my God. I was like, I don't have that many.
Just wanted to scare you. Now, Razor, once again, late to the chat about the fucking Paul brothers saying, don't give them attention. They won't be famous.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work.
You can't convince the general public that. Like, that's the reason why like, people like the Kardashians are still famous. Anybody with a reality TV show is still famous. People want to see it because it's different and they find it entertaining and fucking dumb.
Actually think about it. Like, I'll throw out a random number, say like 50% of celebrities are so fucking cringy. None of us like them. Like none of us actually like who they are, but we love watching them. That's what's so weird. That's like, when I say it like that, I don't want anything to do with being a celebrity, dude. Like you're cringe. That's what's so fucked. You're cringe. So fuck that. It's my lasting thought. Okay, so goats and woats of music festivals. Raffle, I will let you start it off. I will give you the privilege.
You will give me the privilege?
Yes.
Dude, the big thing that you always got to go with, just like being surrounded by live music at all hours of the day.
Yes.
Like going from one venue, like some of the music festivals that we've been to have like multiple stages set up throughout the course of the day, which is sick. So obviously there's like a main stage where obviously your main events are going to be happening. There's a bunch of side stages and you can just kind of go back and forth. And there's always live music. And I don't know what it is, even with a shitty audio crew, live music still sounds good and still sounds fun.
It's still a vibe every time.
100%. And the cherry on top too is floor seating. So it's just like
stage pit.
Yeah, stage pit. So it's like you're like right in front of the stage. Everybody out there's partying, having a great time, like enjoying the live music together. It's so fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, and I would almost like categorize your pick as just saying value. Like the value side of it is insane. Yeah. Like where else can you buy like 3 days worth of live music for like 6 hours a day?
Yep.
Outside in like hopefully beautiful weather. Like
that
is unrivaled anywhere. Okay, I'm going to start out. My first pick for goats of music festival is when one of the openers is the best performance of the night. Like something you are not expecting, because I think like anything as humans, we're hyped for the headliner of the night. But oftentimes the headliner, I think the best a headliner can do is like just barely exceed expectations because like they're usually sky high anyway, especially the last one on Sunday. Like I remember Eric Church blew us away at Sunfest on Sunday, but we kind of expected that. Like, you know,
I was going to say,
sorry, I was going to finish it by saying like, whereas when you're like the second opener for them on a Saturday or something like that, thinking of a guy like Aaron Pritchett, JoJo Mason, when it comes to country guys, those shows are the ones that really fuck me up because I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting to be like, oh yeah, let's get entertained, but they are some of the best shows you ever see.
Well, dude, remember? So that exact same week, I just thought back to it real quick. I think the Thursday headliner was Aaron Pritchett.
Yes, that's right.
And he had, in my opinion, the best performance of the entire week because he had I think it was probably like a 20-minute long like mashup of all these like throwback songs from the 2000s. And it was great, and everybody in the floor pit loved it. It was an awesome time.
Yeah, and he does that at a lot of his shows. Like I remember I saw him at local at the Cloverdale Rodeo, it was the Gone Country Fest.
Yeah,
and they did that same mashup in it, but it was still just as good. So good. Good time.
You know what's one good sign of a very good performer?
What's that?
When they can control a crowd.
Correct.
So. Like obviously like him doing that set list was sick because it just kind of brought like a very different atmosphere to the venue. But then like think about like obviously with DMX's passing recently, there's the video of him at I can't remember what music festival it was, but how he just like had the entire crowd of people just like singing to his song to go with it. Like it was amazing.
Yeah, it was like back in '99 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but it's just like when you can see some sort of performer do something like that, like it makes it a completely different show. It just makes it that much more entertaining.
That was Woodstock, wasn't it? I think it was Woodstock. Yeah, I'm looking at Twitter right now. It says DMX Woodstock performance.
What year?
1999.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, with the red overalls, dude. That's. I had never seen that clip until he passed away, and watching that got me hyped, dude. Like
that was a very good one.
That looks like the fucking Return of the King, like panoramic view when they look up at an army. I'm like, holy shit, that's a ton of people.
Yep, definitely.
Especially in a COVID world. Do they know they're living in a COVID world?
No, not at all. Not yet. Okay, my next goat, dude. I know you'll fucking love this one. If whatever event or festival you're going to has camping.
Yes.
Because just camping out, which they all should. Camping out with the homies is just a great time. Because like you never know what you're gonna wake up to. You could wake up to somebody making breakfast, another guy doing a keg standoff in the back. Like you just don't know what's gonna happen, and it's awesome. Gives that level of unpredictability.
You kind of stole my second pick, but I would also say like, dude, I'm trying to figure out what part of the camping is the best because you get there and kind of nervous because when you first get there, you're kind of told which site you get, right? Well, depending which site, they've kind of changed over the years, but usually, you start out, you get your site, you set up, which is kind of a grind, but the minute you're done setting up and now you have freedom for the next however long, holy fuck, dude. It's like, no more rules. Let's go.
What do you think is worse, the setup or the teardown of your campsite?
The teardown is the worst. The Sunday scaries start hitting. The like I'm hungover, I don't want to do anything starts hitting, and the drive back. The drive back's worse.
Yeah, the drive back does suck.
I like drive backs, but I should say just like ending it sucks.
I was gonna say the biggest letdown of like actually setting up is that you have to set up and you can't just like go and start doing whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Like you have to take that hour, you have to pull all your shit out, you have to set up your tent, you have to get everything, like you have to get the campground organized.
Yeah. You know what's weird? We talked about this last time we were at a festival. We feel fucking old at festivals now. Yeah. Because we're 25. At the time we were only 23, but everyone at any festival is like 19, 18. It's fun. Yeah. And like fucking all you insane, see when, like you and I were sitting there at our campsite for like, we were just chilling out. We were trying to play some drinking games for like an hour. And I think it was like middle of the day, and I saw like half a dozen fucking tweeters walk by me, and they're like, you couldn't tell the difference between them and a zombie, dude. That guy could barely stand on his feet.
Yeah, it was actually insane. It's fucked up.
Shout out.
Okay.
Shout out Blackout Bobby.
There you go. I think you're next.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say. I'm gonna go ahead and say bringing in your own supplies. This kind of ties into the camping side. Okay. But just this idea of like the idea that you could bring your own food and obviously food, but the alcohol side where you're like, yeah, dude, you have a campsite, bring all your own alcohol. That's hilarious. Like that's if they offered it the other way where they're like, no outside alcohol, you have to buy it all from this little shack. Like that would make sense. Like I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's expensive. Fuck me. But oh well. I know that would be a shit. That would be a shit show for them, but they'd make a ton of money at the same time. And it's just it kind of blows my mind in today's world when you just expect to be fucked over by like rules and the way and regulations. But that's one of my favorite parts. You get to choose how much alcohol you're bringing. You always overbuy. You never underbuy.
Yep.
And yeah,
you just get to bring extra home. I think that one of my favorite things about that too is like when you pull up to the event grounds and they're like, oh yeah, like any like drinks or alcohol, you're like, oh, just like this, and they don't bat an eye. They're like, okay, have fun, and just let you go in. They're just like, okay, cool, dude. Dude, I think they ask is like, nothing's in a glass bottle, right? And we're like, no.
Yeah, dude. I think I've told the story before. I did security at a music festival back in 2014. So I was 18 at the time.
Yeah,
or maybe I must have been 19. I was 19 at the time. And there was one day where I was posted up at the gates checking people's bags. I was not checking shit, dude. Like, I guess if I felt a knife, I might have been like, hey, dude, don't bring this in.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? I wasn't trying to catch anything. I was being paid like $15-20 a day or an hour. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. People are getting really creative now too with the way that they're sneaking in alcohol into like day events. Like fucking bracelets, like in like weird articles of clothing. Like it's just like it's insane.
The plastic flasks, dude.
Do you remember, speaking of drinking, this was the last time when you and I went to a festival together and we were camping out. I think we were going to the festival grounds one time. Do you remember the guy who had a stand set up where he was selling shots of Jaeger to anybody who wanted to buy it?
I didn't even think it was selling it. I think he was just giving it away to people you liked.
Really? Because I remember you went up and you had some.
Yes, I do remember having some Jaeger. I did not pay for it. I know that.
You did not pay for it. Okay, cool. Never mind then. Yeah. But yeah, he was just handing it out. And in my head, I'm like, that's very sketchy. But everybody was going up to this guy's shed or his stand.
I will say the part of me. Actually, no, I'm going to save it for my goats. Never mind.
Cool. Good. Sweet. My turn now, right?
Yeah.
Drinking games. Lots of drinking games everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
This is primarily for the ones where you are camping and it's like a weekend type thing. Like everybody's there to like hang out, have drinking games. Like, do you remember we met a guy one time randomly who just like stumbled into our campsite or whatever. Can't remember his name, but
I know.
We ended up playing, I think it was like King's Cup or something with him for like a few hours. And this kid actually got so drunk off drinking games that they wouldn't let him into the fairgrounds because he was deemed too intoxicated. Like it was crazy. But like besides that, like everyone's out there having fun. Like lots of beer pong was going on. King's Cup, Chandelier, Stack Cup, like everything. It's just, I don't know, it's fun. Like I love games, so it's really entertaining. Makes the day go by a lot quicker.
Agreed. I'm a big games guy as well. It's the best way to pass the time.
Yeah.
Fuck breakfast, dude. Give me a slice of cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, my last goat, the one that I saved for this one, was how timeless music festivals can be. Like, just when you start looking around, and like when you're camping and you go around, you look at the sites. There are, like we said, the tweeners. There's the Blackout Bobby tweeners who are like, they could come home with a pregnant woman they've never met before and they don't even remember fucking, or they can come home with like food poisoning and alcohol poisoning and their stomach pumped. Yep. They're a wild time. Then there's people like us who are like, we're well versed in the drinking and camping and festival community. We still know how to have a good time, but we also don't stay up till 4 a.m. every night. That day has passed. And then my favorite group of people, which is this whole goat here, is like the people with the motorhomes. Yeah, seniors, but also just adults. Like in their 30s. They're not fucking bumping the stereo till 4 a.m. like we said. But they are like, they have some sick sites set up because they have fucking trailers, RVs, and they've got money, dude. That's the difference. They've
really monopolized their space within their fucking little campground.
Yeah, and that looks sick. Like I look at that and I'm like, okay, festivals ain't going anywhere for me. Like I'm gonna have a good time doing that.
Real quick though, also one other group is the seniors then. Like the people who are very clearly in like their 50s and 60s who are just there to like hang out and just like watch the show.
Agreed.
Like obviously not down to get like hammered or anything like that, but they're just there for the music.
The Westphalia seniors, those guys are wild too.
Yeah. The guys with all the Harleys and everything, they just pull up and just hang out. Super nice guys.
I think it's a dick move to bring your motorbike to a music festival, mostly because I fucking hate hearing it in the morning. But
first thing in the morning when you gotta start it up quickly.
Yeah, just okay, you're chill out, man.
Yeah.
Is it me? No, it's you. Hell yeah.
No, now it's Woats.
Oh, now it's Woats. Oh yeah,
that
you
was 3 and 3.
Right. Okay,
yeah,
let's do it. Woats of a music festival.
Mine kind of is gonna tie in with what you just said. Dude, there is a weird surplus of kids that are very, very clearly underage at music festivals. I find music festivals, one-day concerts, like you can see like 18, 17-year-olds like walking around in like clothing. Like, how did you get out of the house wearing this? You know what I mean? Like, who lets you leave the fucking building wearing this? And then like drinking and all these other kind of things. Like, I don't want to be a fucking stickler or anything like that, but
yeah,
dude, it just holy.
It just makes you think of the things that you're gonna do as a dad one day. And I know for a fact if my kid comes up to me, if I have a daughter and she says like, "Hey, I'm going to a music festival," I'll be like, "That's so awesome!" And then like literally the Wednesday night before they leave, I'm gonna go and burn everything that's not like Little House on the Prairie style clothing. Like I'm just gonna replace it. Like here's a bunch of like ankle length skirts.
Yeah.
Those.
Like, dude, you're leaving Wednesday. Sweet. I'm gonna pack you a suitcase on Tuesday.
Yeah. And then like I'll be taking days off work and scouting everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you and I are 25 now, dude. Nothing makes you feel more old than seeing really young people at a place that you thought you wouldn't see really young people.
Yeah. At a place where you're like super excited to be.
Yeah.
And there's like all these young kids running around.
Yeah. It's just fucking ruined for you.
Yeah. It is wild like that.
You're up.
What? Hey, you know what? Let's make a pact. Next time we're at a music festival together, let's go. Let's just spend one night going around and out drinking a bunch of young kids.
Sure.
Like, maybe that's a weird flex.
That's tough.
Let's take back some of our youth, Raph.
Their livers are substantially in substantially better shape than ours are. So I mean, I think they can.
We'll find like a nice.
On our hand.
We'll find a vulnerable group of teenagers. We'll find the ones that are like they're like 6'2" and they're like 140 pounds, and they've got all the confidence in the world and be like, "Hey man, I'll buy the beer. You're just gonna black out though, because I need some confidence."
Do you remember that one time when we went to a festival together and we just made a buttload of it? What was it? Broken down golf carts, I think.
Yeah, that was the worst idea we ever had.
That was weird, but we kind of did that year where it's like anytime somebody passed through a campsite, we just like pour them shots of golf carts.
Yeah.
We were giving back to the community in a way, but we didn't like single out like a group of people to absolutely get annihilated.
Yeah, true.
We were paying it forward.
So that was your first wote? Okay.
Yeah.
My first wote. Let's see. What's the first wote going to be?
What's it going to be?
I'm going to say like, down? No, off the cuff, baby.
Off the cuff. Look at this.
I'm going to say the first wote is the food on the last day, like the food that you brought on the last day, because whatever method you think you have of storing your food for the weekend is not as substantial as you actually think. It's
unless you have one of those like motorhomes or something like that with like a built-in refrigerator, it's not going to work.
Unless you are that specific group of people that, like we said, you have money.
Yeah. You're like, the moment you show up, you set up your campsite, you quickly look at your food. You're like, okay, we're cooking that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you just like single out every single thing.
The equation you have in your head, you're like, all right, what is going to develop the quickest?
Exactly.
I need to cook that.
Yeah. And you need to cook enough food where everybody eats everything so there's no leftover so it doesn't take up more space.
Yeah. But I would also say that it's impossible to have leftovers at a festival. Like,
debatable. As long as we had leftovers before.
Oh, really?
Fuck. Yeah.
Well, that's tough. Tough luck on me.
Tough luck. All good though. My second wote, dude, you're fucking dirty all the time.
Oh, it's disgusting. Going
like,
to bed with dirty feet and dirty legs. Ugh.
Yeah, like there are showers and everything like that, but dude, like you get like dust is getting kicked up, sand's getting kicked up. No matter how like posh of a festival it could be, like you're always gonna get fucking covered in dirt and sand. It's not fun.
It's actually it's
everywhere.
That's one of the worst.
Yeah.
All right, my wote is going to be when a headliner misses. Like we had it happen with Carrie Underwood when we were at Sunfest one time.
I thought she was great. I liked her.
No, she was quite terrible. and like like we said, the control the crowd. I think we described her as like she had a however long set. She talked to the crowd once, and it was like a very generic like story about the song she's about to sing, and it was just not very good.
Yeah, fair.
It was burned to my memory of like that one time that I was actually really excited to see Carrie Underwood, and she let me down.
Do you remember Dierks Bentley the next night though?
Yes, I do.
He was fun. He was like shotgunning beers on stage. He was just like giving this like older security guard like a run for his money, pretending to like crowd surf and everything. That kind of made up for it.
Yeah, that guy was money. You're right. That did balance out the rest of the rest of it.
The rest of the week, yeah. My last vote. This one is specifically directed at the Calgary Stampede. Dude, long lineups everywhere. Getting into Stampede, long lineup. Getting into Nashville North, long lineup. Budweiser tent, long lineup. Like it's just like unless you're sneaking in, you're waiting like a good like 40 to 50 minutes to get into wherever you want to go.
It fucking begs the question: can we not get another tent?
Yeah.
Can we just have one
bathrooms, long lineups?
Oh, dude, bathrooms are the worst.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my last vote, dude.
Huh.
The porta potties.
The porta potty situation.
But there's actually this. I should have put this in my goats because I love putting unsuspecting goats in there because there's nothing more satisfying than getting to be like one of the first ones on a porta potty. Like, you know, when they come through and they clean that shit out.
Oh,
it's fresh. And you look down and all you see is
blue cleaner.
Yeah. And you look down and all you see is blue water. You're like, this feels like home. I like this.
Yeah. Like, I am content. Okay, wait. Yeah. Adding, what's it called? Doubling up on your porta potty thing. I have this irrational fear that every single time I go to a music festival and I go into a porta potty, that some drunk group of people are going to think that I'm their friend in that porta potty and they're going to tip that porta potty over while I'm in it. It just scares the balls out of me every single time. I'm like, I don't like I will withhold peeing so I won't have to experience that.
Dude, but no, think about this though. You should actually hope for that to happen because let's just say that happens. You get tipped over, you're covered into pee and to poo. Yeah. And then you come out. You have full like clearance to go attack that person while covered in that.
And like, just fucking start swinging.
You not only are allowed to beat the shit out of him, but you're allowed to beat the shit out of him while you're covered in pee and poo.
What if I beat the shit out of the wrong guy, dude?
No, you'll know who it is. Like he'll be laughing and you'll see his face when he sees it's not his friend. He'll be like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, and just run up.
He tries to apologize, and that's when you uppercut the shit out of him.
And he can't do anything about it. He's like, you know what? I deserve that.
Yeah, he's like, he's covered in shit. I'm like, I got the short straw.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. No, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for finding the silver lining in that situation. That was tough.
Yeah. No problem. That was there is goats on the porta potties. Let's not play around there.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it, right? That's it for the goats and woes. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, that flew by. Just the two of us
went by.
I will actually. Can you send our fans off while I look up one last thing to say?
How would you like me to send them off today? Thank you everybody for tuning in. Whether it is YouTube, Twitch, what is it? Twitter or Facebook. Guys, remember, please feel free to use DraftKings promo code THPN for all those great promotions that Elijah described to you at the very beginning of the episode. We always appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry it is just me and Elijah today, but we like to think that we did a pretty good job for, a solid hour and 20 minutes today?
That's hell yeah, dude. We know we did a good job.
I genuinely did not think you and I would go that long.
No, I didn't think so either.
I thought we'd burn out at about the hour mark, but we've still somehow managed to keep going.
I didn't think we'd burn out. I thought that I knew we were both going to talk a lot more than we're used to.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure I was just going to pass out like around 50 minutes. Just
there have been substantially less likes this podcast.
Yeah, the Josh like counter went silent. We will expect that returning on Sunday. That's all right though. I will end this by saying, you can be the peanut butter to my jelly. You can be the butterflies I feel in my belly.
Oh, I hate this song.
We're the perfect two, you and I. And that's that.
Cool. Have a wonderful night, guys. Take care.
Shout out. Bye.